is going to take a free kick. Salvo, a far kick to Chiquetto, who is able to deflect the ball back. Scarsolini is able to easily capture the ball. Ball being thrown outside the box, which forces the goalie to kick the ball without picking it up again. Brest heads the ball forward, intercepted by Falvo. Falvo to, again, ball is intercepted. McTaggart gains control to Renato Nicolucci. Nicolucci looking for some options. Back to McTaggart, back to Nicolucci. He's able to control it? No, he's not. Intercepted by number 12 for Italpasta, who's doing a good job, John Woodrow, to break up as many plays as he can. Throw in by Canadian Builders, and unfortunately number 2 for Italpasta had his hands in the back of the Canadian Builder player. As a result, Rob McTaggart will take a free kick from that location. Kick inside the box. Benedetti is able to clear it. Nicolucci pumps it back in with a header. Chiquetto intercept. Looking for a far pass, and it's a free situation. It's not offsides. Zuliani's got the ball. First time we've seen Italpasta this end. Nice shot by Zuliani. Excellent shot that had to be stopped by Mr. Scarsolini. Well, there you go, Mike. One and only time that we've seen Italpasta come in this end. A beautiful shot by Zuliani, and we could have had the typical situation which we see in a lot of sports. A lot of pressure.
I think what happened in this instance was the Canadian Builders thought the Italpasta players were offside, and they were not. And we probably had the best scoring chances the whole game, even though all the play has been done in Italpasta's end. But a very, very good shot, and a good save.
John Woodrow set to take the corner kick. First one we've seen for Italpasta. It's a nice kick into the box, and Mr. Scarsolini is able to reach up and pull it in easily. Throws the ball out to Dan Palladino. To Nicolucci. Nicolucci is intercepted by Benedetti. Benedetti is intercepted by Giacomo Antonio, and the ball is kicked back to Mr. Scarsolini. Salvo able to get part of the ball, pushes the ball through, and that's intercepted by Ferreira Jose. Bruno Chiquetto is able to intercept the ball to George Montezuki. George, nice pass to John Woodrow, and that comes off Mr. Scarsolini, Rob Scarsolini, who's the central defender there, and Italpasta has a throw-in. Montezuki to Benedetti. Benedetti back to Montezuki, to Chiquetto. Chiquetto looking down the line for Woodrow. Woodrow's got possession. Cross. Zuliani looking for the header, but Scarsolini is able to intercept. Interception, and I guess we was calling a handball off of number 2, Cimino, John Cimino. A little bit of pressure by Italpasta there, Mike. Looks like they're maybe gaining some composure here. We might see a contest.
I think so. Marino Scarsolini is an excellent goaltender, and he cut that cross off very nicely from John Woodrow. Again, I think Italpasta have to give the long ball and take it away from the center. If you don't, Canadian Builders are going to control the play in the center of the field, and eventually will score.
Another another goal kick, which will be taken by Rob Falvo. Palladino with control back to Giacomo Antonio, back to McTaggart. McTaggart looking for a long pass to Tantello. It looks like we've got an infraction called against George Montezuki. It looks like it may be having his hands in the back of the player. And as a result, Canadian Builders will get a free kick about 6 yards out of the 18-yard line. see 3 players around the ball. Look for a number of options that could happen here in terms of a shot on net. I think, Mike, we'll likely see a shot on net here. They're not likely to pass given the distance they are to the net.
No, I think so. I think they will. I think they will move the ball, and someone's going to take a shot at the net from that distance.
Shot taken by Marino Di Giacomo, but it's right in the hands of Paul Zanetti, and he poses no threat whatsoever. Falvo, long ball down the line, and it looks like that ball is a little bit on the wrong side, and as a result, it's going to roll the play. Pressed, throw in to Nicolucci. Nicolucci, Dentella. George Montezzucchi is able to intercept Falvo, and that's intercepted again by Canadian Builders' Dan Palladino. George Montezzucchi with the throw in for Italpasta. When we get the opportunity to look at George, we should mention that George is actually one of the last local players to get cut by Laurentian Bees last year. As everybody knows, Laurentian Bees has a dynamite team, certainly one of the best teams in the nation. And it's always nice to see some of our local players attempt to crack the lineup, and to George's credit, he was one of the few Sudbury players left to stay in there until the very last cut. Hopefully we'll see George back there, try it one more time.
Half year to find this Quincy game here.
Listen to some of the comments by our spectators here. Didn't know that Queens leg field was that alien to the fans. I think it's the first game in a couple of years, Mike. That's why.
Well, I think the fans have to get used to coming to Queen's Athletic Field and get used to the chain link fence rather than the boarded fence.
That's true.
So it will take a while, and of course we could do with some warm weather. That would help get the people out here.
Rob Falvo with a free kick around the middle field area. Back to Zulich to Falvo. Falvo, a long one intercepted by McTaggart. Giacomo Antonio with control. Looks to Castillo, intercepted. No, it's not. It's, no. George is able to get control of a few players taking a whack, but nobody able to connect. And Italpasta regains control. Long pass to Chiquetto, intercepted by Scarcelloni. Falvo with a head on it. George is able, no he's not, Tintello. Finally Benedetti takes over, back to Falvo, back to Benedetti. Benedetti with a long pass, intercepted by Palladino. Undercroft, Woodrow controls, Chiquetto, Woodrow back, pressed, and back to Scarcelloni. Should also take the opportunity this year to explain a change in the rule with respect to how the goalie can handle or not handle the ball. Do you want to take a shot at that, Mike? Or?
I'll try, Frank. The old system used to be in soccer was that you could pass the ball back to the goaltender from any position. The new rule now being is that you cannot pass the ball to the goaltender. You can head the ball to the goaltender. And in the past, it was nice for the defenseman. If he got in trouble, he could put it back to the goaltender. The new rule doesn't allow that. You can head the ball back. Reason for this is the FIFA rules have been changed basically because of international soccer. Is that when you get into the top level European or World Cup type of soccer, if a team was winning 1-0 and with 5 or 10 minutes to go, the players were inclined to kick it back from the halfway line to the goaltender and waste time. This new rule quickens up the game, and this allows the team from slowing the game down.
Free kick for Italpasta. Zulich with the shot, and that shot goes wide.
It's been trial and error last year. With some of the teams, you're so used to playing one rule, and all of a sudden you got to change, and they forget. But this year so far it's been catching on, and it's been working out fine this year so far.
Pressed with the ball, intercepted by Benedetti. Montezzucchi passes to Chiquetto. Chiquetto's on the line, challenged by Preston. He's successful in knocking the ball out. The linesman's Called ball for Canadian Builders. It might have come off actually Canadian Builder player. Pintello is interfered with by Benedetti and Robert McTaggart, taking a long ball to Mario Cherry. Intercepted there by number 15, Jose Ferreira.
I've noticed this year, Frank, on Canadian Builders team that they've got a couple of new young players this year, and the same thing applies to Italpasta. So I think some of the older players on the Canadian Builders are realizing they may not have too many years left, so they're looking towards building their team again with the younger players, and I think it's good for the younger players to be playing with the experienced players.
Zuliani heading the ball harmlessly to McTaggart. McTaggart looking to push it back into the Italpasta's end. Chip pass to Di Giacomo Antonio. Heads it to Prest. Kicks it to Prest. Prest sends along with it to Tello. He's able to head it through. Still has possession of the cross. And a nice save by Paulo Zanetti. You see there the linemen had their flag for an infraction, but the rule is such that if they have possession and have the advantage, that play will be allowed to continue.
Yes, I think the referee, Angelo De Paulo, made a good call that time, is give the player the ball, who has the ball, the advantage, and let the play go on.
Nicolucci to the Tello. Back to Nicolucci. He's in the box. He's looking for the cross. Nice far cross, unfortunately a little too far, and as a result we're looking at a goal kick. Going back to the new rule, the FIFA rule, we should mention that it's an international rule, and it's not a local rule. It actually applies to all of the soccer teams around the world.
Yeah, so all the rules that come into soccer are new rules come in are basically all the rules in total are devised by FIFA, the International Soccer Federation, and but basically arrived because of the top level teams wasting time when they were up by 1 goal, and it quickens up the game and it's better for the spectators.
Salvo with the goal kick. Play is slowed up here. Canadian Builders have made a change. Cesar Pasito is now on the field, and Pintello is off. Canadian Builders with the first change. That's Zulic. Zulic to Zuliani. Zuliani tries to get it back to Zulic. And unfortunately, Robert McTaggart is there to steer it clear. Throw in for Italpasta. John Cimino will be taking the throw in. Woodrow. Angelo De Paulo has decided that it's a foul throw in, and as a result, Canadian Builders get the throw in to Mario Cherry. We're looking at a handball, and as a result, Mr. De Paulo decides that again Canadian Builders should have a free kick from that spot. Again, Rob McTaggart lined up to take the kick. To Palladino, intercepted by Falvo, and that ball is out of play for another throw-in by Canadian Builders. This throw-in is will be taken by Mr. Cassiati. Looking at another infraction there by Italpasta, and so we're looking at another free kick from roughly that vantage. Once again, McTaggart ready. This should come right into the box. Does. Deflection back, which is not successful. And Italpasta is able to steer it clear. Cassiati. Looks like number 11, Pizito, crosses over, and that ball's a little bit too far for Mario Cherry to intercept. As a result, we'll see another goal kick for Italpasta. We played approximately, looks like about 36, 37 minutes. So we're looking at about another 8 or 9 minutes. Maybe a little bit more than that in terms of the end of the first half. Canadian Builders have had the better play and have dominated in terms of field advantage, but no real scoring opportunities. Again, we have a ball that's out of play. don't know whether it's me, Mike, or not, but I find this game very, very choppy. There's a lot of interruptions.
It is, Frank. I think maybe one reason for so much choppy play. I think maybe the players have to get used to playing at Queen's Athletic. They have not been here for quite a while, and we've been playing at Dalkey-Dozy most of our games this year, and last year we played at Lily Creek in Dalkey-Dozy. So Queen's is a different field. It's a little bigger, a little wider, and possibly they have to get used to the field again.
Handball called against Rob Falvo. Nicolucci crosses the ball over, and that's too far, and we're looking at another goal kick again. Looking at another change for Canadian Builders. Coming onto the field now is number 6, Joe Hammer. And coming off the field is Dino Cassiotti. I'm looking at the Italpasta bench, and I think the only substitute they have is Johnny Muir, who is their backup goalie. So it appears that Italpasta may not be in a position to make any changes.
It looks that way, Frank. As you mentioned earlier on, Italpasta are missing some players due to a wedding this afternoon, and but they are doing a good job of holding off Canadian Builders in this first half.
Chiquero. Zuliani. Zuliani is still in possession. Matasuki goes in there, back to Zuliani, back to Falvo. Falvo looks for a long one. Chiquero is able to keep it in, back to Montezuma. Italpasta controlling the far pass, intercepted by McTaggart. Handball against Zuliani. That's a free kick for Italpasta. To Hammer. Looks like it'll be called back. Play was put into play a little earlier than desired by the referee. So Rob McTaggart will set it. Ball into the box again, up for Palladino. Chiquero is able to clear it wide and take away any threat of an opportunity there for Canadian Builders. I think that's probably the at least the 20th throw-in that we've seen, and probably the 15th goal.
Well, I think Italpasta is more than happy to kick the ball into the touch to relieve the pressure quite a few times, but I'm surprised that Canadian Builders haven't taken more shots at the goal than they have.
There's a shot by Mr. Hammer, and unfortunately it went through and harmlessly was intercepted by the goalie, Paul Zanetti. It's kicked out. Looks like it's going out of play, and Canadian Builders will get a throw-in from that area. Looking at the field here, Mike, and there looks to be unfortunately, some bad patches out there. At least they're not green anyway.
Well, there's been some winter kill on the field, but the field is very level. It drains pretty good, and the Parks and Recreation people have been working on it very hard. And I think we got to understand we live in Northern Ontario and can expect winter kill on a soccer field like we do on our golf courses.
And we're witnessing another throw-in, and again it's for Canadian Builders. Rob McTaggart set to throw it in. Far throw to Nicolucci, and that ball has gone out. Looks like number 12, Woodrow, was able to deflect it. However, Canadian Builders will get another throw-in. Throw-in will be taken by McTaggart once more. Again, back to Nicolucci, intercepted by... Oh, that ball gets kicked out of play. It was intercepted by where? I lost track of this. Woodrow, there it is, John Woodrow. Rob McTaggart looking for a long throw-in. Nicolucci gets bumped by Woodrow, and we're looking at a goal kick. You're right, Mike. I think I would have anticipated that that Canadian Builders may have had struck goal by now. They certainly have had the advantage in play, but we still haven't seen real good scoring shoots.
Well, the Canadian Builders is a much better team than they have showed so far in the first half. And I think possibly you'll see them shooting more at the goal in the second half.
We should mention that the coach is actually a playing coach for Canadian Builders, Rob McTaggart, who, as you've heard already, is very instrumental in taking a lot of the free kicks, especially when they're in Canadian Builders' end. Sort of acts as a bit of a quarterback back there. Falvo, all kinds of time to Chiquetto. Chiquetto, unfortunately, not able to control it. So Canadian Builders with another throw in. Prest. Prest looks for number 19, George Carlos. And Chiquetto, unfortunately, is obstructed by Prest, and as a result, Canadian Builders will get another shot. Falvo ready to put this ball into play. Chiquetto controls, looks for the cross in the middle, far cross. Zulic gains control, looking for the cross, beautiful cross. McTaggart gets a piece of it. Chiquetto, nice shot by Chiquetto. Nice effort by Bruno Chiquetto and Mr. Zulic to try to take advantage of whatever minimal opportunities this team's going to get, I guess.
Well, we haven't had too many shots on goal on either end in this half, Frank. Possibly we had 3 for Canadian Builders and 2 for Italpasta. So I think we'll see more shooting at the goal in the second half.
Pintello gets bumped, and as a result, Canadian Builders again will get a free kick. And once more, Rob McTaggart sets it up. Into the box one more time. Zanetti going up. He is able to easily gain control. Kick to the sidelines to Zuliani. Zuliani heading it back to Chiquetto. Chiquetto makes an effort to control. Scarsoloni intercepts back to Nicolucci. Nicolucci intercepted by Zuliani. Zuliani to Woodrow. Woodrow attempts to make a pass to number 10, who is striking brought by it, but unfortunately that goes astray, and as a result we have another throw-in for Canadian Builders. Should mention that Canadian Builders are Sudbury United Soccer Club, and that Italpasta is part of the CS, Italian Soccer Club CS, referring to Central South Italia. Pintello with the ball, intercepted, and faced with one more thrown in on the far side for Canadian Builders.
Should also mention, Frank, apart from we have 10 teams in the league, 9 from Sudbury, and actually we have 1 from Elliott Lake who participates in our league, which is Elliott Lake United. And I was up at their game last week, and soccer seems to be alive and well in Elliott Lake, and we're glad to have them in our league here.
Chiquetto to Zuliani. Zuliani with control, looking for some options to Benedetti. Benedetti is stripped from the ball by Scarsoloni. Palladino, Falvo intercepts. Woodrow, Renato, McTaggart combine intercept one time to Nicolucci. Nicolucci pushed from behind by Benedetti, and as a result we'll see a free kick. Canadian Builders looking to speed up the play. Angelo Paulo holding them off a bit. Cross Nice effort by number 18, Carlo Castillo, to head the ball and direct it away from the goalie, but Paulo Zanetti is able to bring it down. Zuliani. McTaggart to Nicolucci. Pressed on the sideline. Looking for Palladino. George Montezuki. Benedetti in a tight squeeze. Still in control. Falvo chips the ball over Woodrow. Nicolucci is able to get his foot on and direct it out. A couple of good combinations by Italpasta.
Italpasta seemed to be holding their own here in the first half and had a couple of opportunities, but I think we'll see a different game in the second half.
Now we have interesting situation here. I wish I could explain it to you, but the referee is asking number 18 to leave the play of field. Mario Cherry comes on. Not exactly sure what happened there. And there's the end of the first half. Score at this particular point in time is still 0-0. We'll see you after the intermission.
Welcome to It's Your Move. I'm Sharon Murdoch, MPP for Sudbury.
Câble 7. La télé communautaire de Northern Cable a besoin de votre aide. Dans le but de mieux vous servir, nous sommes à la requête de commentaires ou suggestions au sujet de la programmation que nous offrons. Si vous avez des commentaires ou suggestions au sujet de nos émissions, s'il vous plaît, appelez le babillard du câble 7 au 560-9448. Aidez-nous à vous offrir les émissions que vous voulez voir. Contactez notre babillard et participez activement à la programmation du canal communautaire. Composez le 560-9448.
Just $27 a month, less than $1 a day, will mean a world of difference to a young child's life overseas. Foster Parents Plan has been able to maintain a record of sending at least 85% of all donations to help the children, their families, and their communities. Join us as we do our best to help people who really need it. We'll make sure that your participation does make a difference.
Call Foster Parents Plan, toll free, 1-800-268-7174.
Join me, Terry Gordon, along with Jan Narduzzi and Sheila Renton, here on Cable 7 as we take a look at the faces of arthritis.
We're back for the second half of our first televised game with the Senior Men's Soccer League. This evening's contest pits Italpasta in yellow and to your left against Canadian Builders in your right and in the purple. Score at the end of the first half is 0-0. Maybe we could summarize the first half a bit, Mike, for our viewers.
I think the first half, as I said, there were very few shots on goal in the first half. Whereas Canadian Builders dominated the play, they didn't seem to want to shoot at the Italpasta net. Seemingly, Italpasta had one or two shots on goal, but seem to be happy with just keeping off defending against Canadian builders. But as I said before, I think you're going to see more shooting from Canadian builders in this half.
Canadian builders with a free kick. Mr. Renato Nicolucci will be ready to take it. Setting the ball up just like he likes it. Into the box. Intercepted by number 15, Ferreira, Jose. Benedetti is able to piece the ball. Woodrow back to Renato, and Renato's able to clear it. Control here by, actually kicked out of play by number 2, John Cimino, as he withstood the challenge from number 11, Cesar Pachito, I think is the way it should be pronounced.
I think you're correct, Frank. I played with Cesar's brother Gino many years ago. We played in the Canadian National League together for a couple of years, and Gino was an excellent soccer player.
McTaggart for Canadian builders, again setting it up to Cherry. Cherry still with control to Tantalo, intercepted by number 10. Whoa. We've got a bit of a scrub there. And Mr. DiPaolo awards the free kick to Italpasta. Falvo on the far side to number 10, Payet. Payet to Benedetti. Prest is able to close him down and kicks it back towards Paul Zanetti, goalie for Italpasta. Kick, Suliani, deflection, McTaggart, Nicolucci, Chiquetto for Italpasta is able to kick it out of bounds. A couple of changes on the field, and we'll bring you up to date on those as soon as we can. Chito to number 6. Giacomo Antonio, intercepted by Benedetti. Benedetti to Zulic. That ball's a little bit too far for Mr. Zulic. Canadian builders with the throw-in. Marino di Giacomo Antonio. Prest. Palladino. Throw-in for for Italpasta. Prest intercepts. Scarsoloni. Suliani. People tripping all over each other. Mr. DiPaolo is awarded a free kick for Italpasta.
I'm surprised, Frank, with this game, with especially Canadian builders play. They usually move the ball around, give the long balls and move the balls to the wings, and I haven't seen them doing that in this game.
Falvo with a long kick. Marino Scarsoloni went up and was clipped by Bruno Chiquetto. And Mr. Angelo DiPaolo, the referee, decides that that infraction is significant enough to warrant a yellow card. And maybe that's the most excitement we've seen so far in the game, Mike. I don't think
so the viewers understand the yellow card. Yellow cards are given for not so serious infraction during the game. The second yellow card becomes an automatic red card, and you were thrown out of the game. A player who accumulates 3 yellow cards during the same season has to appear before our discipline committee. And the same with a player who is ejected from a game on a red card has to appear before the discipline committee.
Marino Scarsoloni looks like he's recovered, still hanging on to his back a bit there. Should note that Marino is probably one of the, is a premier goalie in the league. Zulic. Zulic has the ball again. Back to Chiquetto, a little bit too far and out of play. Canadian builders. Marino di Giacomo Antonio with the throw-in. Looking back. Long throw to Scarsoloni. Scarsoloni takes a far side kick to Prest. Prest back to Nicolucci. Galucci to intercepted by Benedetti. Cherry gains control, Palladino, and that's intercepted by Italpasta. Tantallo battling for the ball. Finally, Rob Falvo clears the ball. Falvo again, back to Zulic, intercepted by Palladino. Falvo intercepts. Head ball, won by Benedetti. That's off of Nicolucci. Back to John. We've got a couple substitutions here. Scarsolani gains control. Clears it back, Nicolucci. Nicolucci to Prest on the far side. We have, I just want to catch up on that change. We have a John, where are we here? Persino, I think. Persini. Oh, and there's Scarsolini trying to get the ball out. Ends up hitting Mr. Zanetti, and that goes out of play. There's a near opportunity there. It looks like Italpasta somewhere in the midst of the intermission picked up an extra player in the form of John Persini, and he's playing the left side here, number 8. Pressed with the ball on the far side for the Canadian Builders. Mounting the attack to Cherry. Cherry gains control, turning with the ball, back to Prest. Prest to Dantale. He's got the ball inside the box. Crosses over to and intercepted. Intercepted by Mr. Falvo, who pushed the ball back to the goalie, which prompts our new rule. Maybe we can describe for you what is going to happen. Now that's essentially the case that Mike was describing, where in fact the player passes the ball back to their own goalie, at which point now in the various leagues across the world, that is an infraction.
What referee DePaulo will do now, he will give Canadian Builders an indirect free kick. I don't know if a hit off Falvo or if he intentionally meant to pass it back, but in the judgment of the referee, he did pass it back to the goaltender, and in turn will give Canadian Builders an indirect free kick.
Now an indirect free kick means that the player must touch the ball before it's kicked by the team, and as a result, there's that hesitation. You can see what Italpasta did. They challenged the shooter after the pass and were able to deflect the ball away from the net.
Yes. Looks like John Cimino that is received a yellow card by referee DePaulo. On a tackle on one of the Canadian Builder players.
The player down is Dan Palladino. It looks like he may have taken a shot or a kick to maybe the knee, it looks. It's hard to say from this point of view. Looks like he might survive. Right leg is a little bit on the sore side, but he'll be able to continue on for the remainder of the game. Canadian Builders setting it up one more time. Again, you can see the 3-man formation. And this is a direct kick, so we can see either a pass here or a shot on here. Again, the wall does its work for Italpasta, and they're able to deflect the ball out of danger. Maybe now that we have a moment here, we should just very briefly give you a summary of what's happened in the first 5 games of the season. We had a number of matchups, and we can't give you the actual scores, but we can tell you who, in fact, won and lost. Palladino with a shot to the net, and Zanetti is right there. Doesn't have to move an inch and is able to corral the ball in. Ball looks like it's out of play, and Canadian Builders will be able to make a throw-in, and it goes back to Marino Scarsoloni. High ball, bounces dangerously. Tantello is there, still has possession. Shot on net, intercepted, blocked well by Italpasta. Palladino gets pushed off the play. And that looks very close to the 18-yard line. Mr. DePaula decides that it's just slightly outside the box, and as a result, it does not result in a penalty shot, but a free kick outside the box. It's like deja vu. We've seen this 2 times in a row. Italpasta setting up the line, and Canadian Builders examining their options with respect to a shot here. Nicolucci with the shot. And it looks like we may have a handball called by Angelo DePaulo, and as a result, it's against the Canadian Builders. Italpasta will take a free kick. Oh, we got a total reversal here. What we have is a little bit of confusion, but I think Mike Angelo has decided that in fact the infraction was against Italpasta, not the Canadian Builders, and as a result he wants the ball kicked in the other direction.
Right, and while he was moving the players back, Rob McTaggart kicked one over the defence into the net, but the whistle hadn't blown, so it is not counted as a goal.
One more time the line and one more time the shot. This one is dangerously close, but Rob is unsuccessful in getting the near post, so we're looking at another goal kick by Italpasta. Maybe we can just quickly run through the season. I see you got the Dealer Alsat results as well. Maybe we start with the Dealer Alsat.
Yes, we started off the Dealer Alsat trophy on May the 19th, and went through all the rounds. The final was played on May the 24th between Canadian Builders and Italia Flyers. Canadian Builders beat Italia Flyers that evening 5-0, and have been playing very well during the Dealer Alsat Trophy. Our official league started on May the 26th, and again we had Canadian Builders versus Alianza, and Canadian Builders beat Alianza 2-0.
Zulic battling with Palladino, gets the ball off, but Mr. Ignacio Spadafora, the linesman on the near side, decides that Woodrow is out of offside, and as a result, Canadian Builders. I'm not sure the score was 2-0. It was certainly a victory by Canadian Builders against Alianza.
Yeah, I think Frank, it was. I think it was about 5-0.
Yeah.
Alianza are a young team, and will take them a couple of years before they get up to the caliber of the Canadian Builder team. A couple of other games that were played were Corsi and DAP Construction, and Corsi prevailed 2-0 in that game. The game I was at in Area Lake last weekend was Nickel City Lasers and Area Lake United, and that was a 1-1 tie.
We had a near situation there with Paul Zanetti coming out to try to control a long pass, and Mr. Tantello did everything he could to keep that ball in, but unfortunately went over the goal line, and as a result, Italpasta will have a goal kick.
The other games played over in the past week or so was Adria played Italpasta, and Adria won the game 2-0. And also Italia Flyers beat the Polish White Eagles 2-0.
Mr. Mario Cherry is able to get a piece of that ball, and unfortunately he went out of bounds. Canadian Builders will take the throw, and so I guess it must have went off of number 16, not Mario Cherry. Must apologize here. Number 16 for Italpasta is Bruno Cicchetto. Canadian Builders with the throw in, and there's a bit of a nudge, but Mr. DePaula decides to have them play on. Cicchetto bangs the ball out to Zuliani. Zuliano challenged by Nicolucci, but he survives the challenge. Back to Cicchetto. Cicchetto over here to Cimino. Cimino to Zulic. Zulic puts it through, but McTaggart is there to control. Nicolucci. Nicolucci, a nice cross, but doesn't get through. Italpasta is able to clear one more time. Pressed to Palladino. Back to number 10 for Italpasta. And unfortunately, he's not able to control it. And Mr. Tantello for Canadian Builders gets a throw in. Intercepted by Ital. Benedetti to Zuliani again. To Zulic. Zulic moving with a little bit of space. Taking some time with it. Decides to go on his own. Chip to Chiquetto. Mr. McTaggart there to put it away. Number 11 for Canadian Builders. Chito. Unfortunately, is not able to gain control, and as a result, Italpasta have a throw-in. We want to take the opportunity to thank Northern Cable Community Channel Television, Cable 7 Sudbury, for being gracious enough to host and televise some of our games. McTaggart, far side to Prest. Prest to Tantello, gets a bit of a nudge from number 10. And as a result, we'll get a free kick from that ditch. Nicolucci to Cherry. Cherry has got an opportunity, and number 15, Jose Ferreira, is able to deflect the ball out of bound, resulting in a goal kick for Canadian Builders. Danny Palladino will retrieve the ball and likely kick it in terms of a goal kick. We'll see if Canadian Builders can make something out of this opportunity. Into the box, cleared out by Zuliani, back by Di Giacomo. Michael Cherry looking to turn, far post. Nicolucci heads the ball, but unfortunately heads it just wide of the net. Hence another goal kick for Italpasta. We saw a little bit of a flurry of action by Canadian Builders, having two, I would call, half chances there, Mike.
Yes, I think Canadian Builders are starting to pressure Italpasta a little more, and maybe Italpasta defense is getting a little tired. They've pretty well been defending for quite a bit of the game, so I may be starting to tell on them right now.
Yeah, I think what we're likely to see, Mike, you're absolutely right. When they get a little closer to the end of the game, don't think they'll want to settle for a tie. So we probably will see a little more activity. There's Tantello with the far side, looking to cross it to Cherry. Cherry's able to get a piece of it. Here comes a shot, and it's unfortunately over the net. And there's one of maybe one of the best opportunities that we've seen all night, with Mario Cherry being right in almost on the goal spot and putting it over the net.
Mario got a golden opportunity on that play, and he won't get too many opportunities like that, but unfortunately he put the ball over the top.
Falvo with the goal kick, and it's out. Benedetti. Scarsoloni takes the ball, and a bit of a, unfortunately, neither of the players are able to, neither of the two players are able to control, hence Italpasta with the throw-in. Zulic. Zulic on the far side to Benedetti, and that's put out of touch again. Zulic one more time to Benedetti. McTaggart is there to shield the ball, and it's back to Scarsoloni. You can see that Scarsoloni is not going to touch it with his hands, so he doesn't get the end kick, but he's successfully able to kick the ball out. Bit of a battle there. Zulic wins, but McTaggart is there to take the ball. McTaggart dangerously going back to his neck, crosses it to Prest. Prest tried to direct it to Danny Palladino, but couldn't quite get there. Intercepts. Tantello with Cherry. Long pass to Cherry. He's got the ball. Tries to pass it back to number 18, a fellow player here, but it's intercepted by Falvo. Falvo, far reaching pass to Zulic, but unfortunately just too far for Mr. Zulic to reach.
Again, Frank, Mario Cherry got a golden opportunity again, but unfortunately...
Nicolucci to Tantello. Looks like an opportunity. Tantello did well to get his foot on the ball, but unfortunately directed it wide.
I think Mario Cherry on that last play was trying to get the ball to his winger, who would have had an open shot at the goal, and unfortunately was taken down by one of the Italpasta players.
So we've seen 2 or 3 good opportunities in the last few minutes, and maybe our prediction about the pressure that we anticipated that Canadian Builders would apply is in fact taking place. Foul ball.
I think so. I think as the game goes on, you'll see more of the long ball and through balls in for Canadian Builders, and they're going to be pressing a lot more.
Nicolucci to the near side here, number 11. Still with control to Cherry. Cherry being challenged by Falvo, and Falvo does well to get his foot on the ball and clear it. Canadian Builders with the throw-in. Looks like the pace has picked up just a touch. Nicolucci lining up for the far throw. Scarsoloni tries to get a piece of it, but Mr. Bruno Cecchetto is successful in knocking it out of bounds, which will result in a corner kick short corner kick to Nicolucci. Nicolucci, nice shot. Oh, a nice shot by number 11, Pachito, and Mr. Tantello attempted to deflect the ball towards the net, but unfortunately that went wide. Another good scoring opportunity for Canadian Builders.
Yes, Frank, for the viewers who are interested in what it would cost to get into the admission into the games here, it's quite reasonable. Adults is $2, seniors $1. Children accompanied with an adult are free of charge, and children wearing their team soccer uniform are, of course, are no charge. So it'd be nice if we get some more people at the games here.
Italpasta still in control. Moving up with the ball to Zuliani. That gets through, but unfortunately, goalie there is there to intercept easily. Falvo controlling Cecchetto here to the near side, and that looks like it might go out of bounds. Just can't reach it. Canadian Builders with the throw-in. You're right, Mike. We have a ton of young soccer players in the community, and I know that some of the soccer players are real enthusiasts, but they may not know a lot about the sport. Coming to the senior games, which is an opportunity to probably see the best soccer that we witness here in this community, is a way to improve their game even at that level.
We base the admission fees into the games to attract the younger kids, and of course we want the parents to come out and see the games as well. And during these economic times, we feel that $2 for an adult is quite reasonable.
Fraction against number 17 for Italpasta, Mr. Zuliani, and as a result, Robert McTaggart pumps it back in. Cherry deflection. Unfortunately, that's intercepted. Italpasta kicking the ball out, and as a result, pressed. Throw it back into play to Cherry. Cherry crosses it. Is there anybody there? And it's just no, we're still into play here. Looked like it was out of play. Looked like it was out of play from my perspective here, but it was still in play, and as a result, we almost saw an opportunity created there, but nothing resulted. Paul Zanetti with the ball. Throws it to Benedetti. Benedetti battling with Mr. Palladino. Looks like it was a handball, and as a result, Canadian Builders will take a free kick from that point. Taggart, again, a long one into the box. Right to the goalie. See another goal kick out. Giuliani to Falvo. Falvo. McTaggart is there to be able to close him down very quickly. Pass back to Scarsoloni, but he'll have to play it with his foot, which he does. And a bad bounce there, resulting in a Italpasta throw-in. Zulic. Zulic to Falvo. Falvo back to Zulic. Zulic across. McTaggart heading it back towards the goalie Scarsoloni. Cherry up for the ball. get a piece of it, but Prest is able to gain control on the far side. Attempts to cross it to Tantallo, but it's intercepted nicely by the Italpasta player. Number 10, Rob Hyatt. Pressed for the throw-in to Nicolucci. Nicolucci over the ball. Falvo moving up. Zuliani being challenged by Scarsoloni. Scarsoloni gets a little bit too much of the player, resulting in a free kick for Italpasta. Italpasta setting up. Bruno Cichetto to take the kick into the box. It looks like it's right for Marino Scarsoloni, and he very easily brings it down. Pressed on the far side. Cherry Tantallo tries to bring it down. Italpasta is there, poised, put it back into play. Zuliani deflects it, but again, that's not very dangerous with none of the Italpasta players being in a position to take advantage of it. McTaggart, another long one to Cherry. Cherry deflects it to Tantallo, an excellent pass back, but Zanetti is there to corral the ball. Benedetti gets a deflection. Woodrow with Scarsoloni. Scarsoloni back to the goalie. Again, we'll see the control. Marino playing a bit with it, almost like a regular player. Shot by John Persicini, and unfortunately that goes too wide. Well, if there was ever a goalie that you would feel safe in passing the ball back to, knowing that he could probably take on one or two of the opponents, it's probably Marino Scarsoloni.
Marino is an excellent goaltender. I think if I was the coach of Canadian Builders, I would have been a little nervous that time, beating two players and none of the Canadian Builders players back to cover the goal net. But however, Marino got away with that one, and but he is an excellent goaltender.
See a bit of a break in the action. Mr. DePaula says, put the ball in play. Rob McTaggart. Again, a long one. Intercepted by Ital. Nicolucci gets a piece of it. Zulich is not able to gain control, and as a result, Canadian Builders one more time with the throw-in. Intercepted. Okay, Builders getting through. Zuliani deflects it, heads it back. Nobody there. Scarsoloni. Kick. Tantallo, unfortunately, was obstructed by number 2, Johnny Cimino, and we're looking at another free kick in favor of Canadian Builders. Approximately 30 minutes gone in the game, and we're still yet to see any scoring. Giacomo Antonio in the box to Scarsoloni. Benedetti does well to get a piece of it and put it out of danger. Throw in. Renato Nicolucci will look for a long throw in, likely into the box here. Cherry tries to chip it back. Benedetti one more time, handball, and Italpasta will be able to safely clear it out as a result of a handball to the Canadian Builders. Long kick once more. Taggart up. Intercepted. Benedetti has a partial break against Palladino. Palladino is able to just get inside on the ball, and as a result is able to gain control. Benedetti is charged with a minor infraction there, and Nicolucci, Canadian Builders, looking to turn with the ball, does. Was intercepted by Zuliani for Italpasta. Zuliani to Woodrow. Woodrow back to Falvo. Falvo tried to chip it through and was unsuccessful. A little bit of pressure from both teams now. Rob Falvo, unfortunately, gets a handball, resulting in a free kick to Canadian Builders. Zanetti is there, and Tantalo is not able to get a foot on the ball. Chiquetto, clearing pass. Scarsoloni crosses the field. Maybe a mistake. Zuliani is able to get the ball. And Danny Palladino again does a yeoman job of making sure that the opponent doesn't get an opportunity. Rob far side. Pressed back to McTaggart. McTaggart looking at the options, back to Prest. Prest gets it. Looks like two players there had a chance of the ball, but we have a slight disagreement as whose ball it is. Angelo makes the decision, and it's Italpasta ball. Prest is able to get a piece of it and put it back out of play. Again, Italpasta with the throw-in. Benedetti with Prest. Benedetti moves the ball over. Woodrow against McTaggart. McTaggart does well to put the ball away. Challenged by Benedetti. And we have an offside call by Mr. Ignacio Spadafora against Italpasta. Canadian Builders wanting to move the ball a lot quicker than the pace desired by the referee. It's called back. McTaggart takes the free kick. Cesar Pesito to number 18, Castillo, and he's challenged by Bruno Chiquetto. And as a result, we have a throw-in for Canadian Builders. Back and forth play, a little bit more predominant now in the latter part of the second half than we saw in the first half.
Well, as we said before, Frank, I believe you're going to see players like Rob McTaggart who can really place the ball, and he's going to give the long ball into the Italpasta area and let speedsters like Pantalo chase and also Sherry. So I think you'll see a lot more of the long ball into the Italpasta area in the closing minutes of this game.
A couple of changes for Canadian Builders. Off the field came Robert McTaggart and Mr. Prest, and on the field came Hammer and Mr. Cassiotti. Zulich, Zulich to Benedetti. Hammer is able to move it away. Chino. John's got the ball and he puts it to the far side. Cassiotti is able to deflect it wide. Palladino with the ball. Oversteps the ball. Still in control of Cassiotti. Cassiotti moving to position. But the Italpasta is able to stop it. Chiquetto. Long pass to Woodrow, but that's a little too far. And as a result, we've got the flyer. Italpasta again with control. Back to Chiquetto. Chiquetto gets stripped by Renato Nicolucci, and unfortunately, I guess gives him a bit of a shoulder, resulting in a free kick for Canadian Builders. Palladino. Falvo pumps it out. Italpasta with control. Gives the ball away to Cassiotti. Cassiotti tripped up a bit from behind, but still in control. Back to Di Giacomo Antonio. Chiquetto's there to intercept. Scarsoloni gives it away to Zulich. Zulich turns with it. Looking down the line. Both teams look a little leg weary at this point. Scarsoloni is going to have to use his feet, which he does successfully. Palladino. Giacomo Antonio. And there's a nice pass to number 16, number 18. 18 to Cherry, and Cherry does well to get his foot on the ball, but again, that ball is deflected over the net.
Yes, Mario was a little unlucky with that play. He wasn't far over the bar on that play, but he made a good play to get to the ball. I do notice Frank Rob McTaggart on the bench at Canadian Builders, but I believe he's only there for a short rest, and he'll be back on before the end of the game.
Approximately 9 minutes left in the game. If any of these two teams want to win this game, I think they're going to have to put it into high gear. Zuliani clears the ball. Renato Nicolucci Far pass, intercepted by Falvo. Falvo moving up with two other attackers. Crosses over, a little too far, and Scarcelloni is able to corral it. Palladino, quick turn for Canadian Builders. Chip shot, still in play. Angelo DiPaolo has decided that there's a bit of infraction in favor of Canadian Builders. As you can see, Canadian Builders are moving into the play quickly. Mario Cherry with the kick. Cross. Nicolucci. Back to DiGiacomo Antonio. Far side here to number 11, Pachito. Pachito into the box. And Zanetti is able to bring it down. Pace quickening a bit. Long throw to Woodrow. Successful at keeping it in, but may have given up the ball. Cassiotti. Successful turn. Far pass to Palladino. Not able to corral it, and as a result, the ball skips back to Paul Zanetti. Zanetti to Benedetti. Long pass. Nobody's there except for the Canadian Builders. Setting it up to the far side. Mistake. Zulic, can he capitalize? Shot by Zulic. Nice shot that unfortunately was a little bit on the high side. Well, that was almost a very painful situation for the Canadian Builders. I think if it was earlier in the game and Mr. Zulic had a little bit more leg power, he might have been able to scoot in there for a partial break or a full break.
I agree with you, Frank. It was mixed up in the Canadian Builders' defence, and I think you're right. If it had been earlier in the game, he would have had a little more legs to chase, but he decided to have a shot. And, it was a good effort.
Falvo, long pass, too far for Woodrow. Scarcelloni teeing it up. That looks like it might be out of play, and it is, with Italpasta taking that throw-in. Well, I think coming into this game, we probably would have, I guess, assumed that Canadian Builders may have been the team to watch in terms of a possible victory, but I think Italpasta would be very, very happy with a tie in this situation.
I agree. Canadian Builders certainly were the favourites coming into the game this evening, and Italpasta has certainly done a good job to hold them from not scoring. However, you will see some pressure in the last couple of minutes of this game by Canadian Builders.
Italpasta with the ball, still in control. Giacomo Montoni gets a foot on it. Palladino is able to intercept. Far side pass. Italpasta is able to clear it easily. Italpasta doing well to hold off a very, very strong offensive team in the form of Canadian Builders. To Nicolucci. Nicolucci passes it through. Tantello gets a deflection, and Falvo is there to clear it out of harm's way. Rob Falvo has done yeoman service tonight. He's been in the play very, very often. Actually, we've seen him on both ends of the field.
Rob Falvo was a very good player. He has lots of experience. He's one of the more experienced players on Italpasta, and he did an excellent job on defense this evening.
Marino Di Giacomo Antonio poised for the corner kick. In the box one more time. Woodrow successful in getting it out. Palladino tries to put it back in. Canadian Builders, a shot. Nice shot on net. Little on the wide side. And we're looking at another goal kick by Italpasta. Approximately 4 minutes left in the game. Italpasta will do well to tie. Canadian Builders, I think, in all fairness, would be somewhat disappointed in the tie.
I think so, Frank. I think Canadian Builders, certainly from the past record, will show they have been a better team than Italpasta, but Italpasta have done well tonight.
Pachito trying to squeeze in there, and again, Falvo was there to break it up. Another corner kick. We see Canadian Builders moving their players into position. And I think their thoughts would be pretty obvious at this point. They've got to capitalize on these kinds of opportunities. Nice shot by Marino Di Giacomontonio right in there. I think it was Tantello that attempted to redirect the ball to the net, and that was just wide. Canadian Builders teeing it up for another goal kick. Falvo with the kick. Sidelines. Looks like we might have a handball called against. No, we have a throw-in for Canadian Builders. Cheeto to Giacomontonio, loses control. Benedetti. Italpasta. Palladino looking for a shot, a little on the wide side. May have been thinking of Mario Cherry in terms of the pass there, but unfortunately that was a little bit on the long side. 2.5 minutes left in the game or thereabouts. Referee is the only one who has the official time in this game, so when I say 2.5 or 2 minutes, it's based on my watch. Tantello is able to clear the ball out of play. Chimino back to Falvo. Falvo kicks it out of harm's way as well. Mr. Spadafora has decided that ball is out. We have some disagreement by some of the spectators, and it looks like Mr. Benedetti is also suggesting that the call was an incorrect one. Pass back to Scarsoloni. Look at the big boom here. Mario Cherry with an opportunity. Zanetti out there, grabs it very easily. Italpasta is poised now to walk away with the tie. They're just doing everything they can to keep it away from any last desperate attempt by Canadian Builders to pull this game out of the fire. Canadian Builders, Nicolucci far pass to Palladino. He tries to get it in, and it looks like the ball didn't go out. Now it's gone out, and Italpasta has been, Canadian Builders has been given a throw-in. We have an injured player here, Tantello, who looks like he's suffered some sort of leg injury, resulting in a change of players. About a minute left in the game or less. Nicolucci with the throw-in. This might be one of the last opportunities here. I think if Canadian Builders has any intention of winning this game, I think we're down to a few seconds here, Mike.
I think so too, Frank. The whistle is going to go for full time at any moment, and
Casiotti. Players moving out, chip shot, press turns. Still has control of the ball. Nicolucci, far post. Cherry poised. Pachito tries to turn with the ball, and I was just about to say he might be given a penalty there, and it looks like he has, and Angelo DiPaolo has decided on an indirect free kick inside the box. Down to a few seconds now. Marino Di Giacomontonio looking for taking the kick here. Chip shot. Palladino, Di Giacomontonio shot, moved up by Falvo. Cazziotti, Scarsoloni back, no. Cherry. Again, Italpasta doing everything they can just to survive and clear the ball. Mr. DiPaolo looking at his watch. That's the game. Just to summarize for you, we have essentially a nothing game, not much to summarize. I guess, in all fairness, Italpasta probably has come ahead, so to speak, in terms of at least being able to gain the draw without some of the key players missing. Mike, any last words before we close her down?
Well, I'd like to thank Northern Cable Community Television, Cable 7, on behalf of the executive of the Sudbury Men's Soccer League for televising our game this evening. But I agree with you, that was a good result for Italpasta, and I don't know if it was a good result for Canadian Builders. Thank you, Frank.
Great. So that's Frank Malvasso and Mike Dowling saying thank you very much and hope to see you at the next senior men's soccer game. Thank you very much.